Chapter 3 Fibre to Fabric. In class 6, you have learned about some fibers obtained from plants. You also learned that wool and silk fibers are obtained from animals. Wool is obtained from the fleece or hair of sheep or yak. Silk fibers come from cocoons of the silk moth. Do you know which part of the sheep's body yields fibers? Are you aware how these fibers are converted into the woolen yarn that we buy from the market to knit sweaters? Do you have any idea how silk fibers are made into silk, which is woven into saris? In this chapter, we shall try to find answers to these questions. Animal fibers, wool and silk. 3.1 Wool. Wool comes from sheep, goat, yak, and some other animals. These wool yielding animals bear small hair on their body. Do you know why these animals have a thick coat of hair? Hair trap a lot of air. Air is a poor conductor of heat, as you would learn in chapter 4. So, hair keeps these animals warm. Wool is derived from these hairy fibers. Activity 3.1. Feel the hair on your body and arms and those on your head. Do you find any difference? Which one of these seems coarse and which one is soft? Like us, the hairy skin of the sheep has two types of fibers that form its fleece. One, the coarse beard hair, and second, the fine soft underhair close to the skin. The fine hair provide the fibers for making wool. Some breeds of sheep possess only fine underhair. Their parents are specially chosen to give birth to sheep which have only soft underhair. This process of selecting parents for obtaining special characters in their offspring, such as soft underhair in sheep, is termed selective breeding. Animals that yield wool. Several breeds of sheep are found in different parts of our country. Table 3.1. However, the fleece of sheep is not only source of wool. Though wool commonly available in the market is sheep wool, figure 3.1, yak, figure 3.2, wool is common in Tibet and Ladakh. Angora wool is obtained from Angora goats, figure 3.3, found in hilly regions such as Jammu and Kashmir. Wool is obtained from goat hair, figure 3.4. The under fur of Kashmiri goat is soft. It is woven into fine shawls called pashmina shawls. The fur or hair on the body of camels is also used as wool. Figure 3.5. Llama and alpaca found in South America also yield wool. Figure 3.6 and 3.7. Activity 3.2. Collect pictures of some animals whose hair is used as wool. Stick them in your scrapbook. If you are unable to get pictures, try and draw them from the ones given in this book. Find out words for sheep, goat, camel, and yak in your local language and also in other languages of a country. Activity 3.3. Procure outline maps of India and the world. Find out and mark the places on the map where you find animals that provide wool. Use different colors to denote the location for different wool yielding animals. From fibers to wool. For obtaining wool, sheep are reared, their hair is cut and processed into wool. Let us learn about this process. Rearing and breeding of sheep. If you travel to the hills in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, or the plains of Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Gujarat. You can see shepherds taking their herds of sheep for grazing. Sheep are herbivores and prefer grass and leaves. Apart from grazing sheep, rearers also feed them on a mixture of pulses, corn, jowar, oil cakes, materials left after taking out oil from seeds, and minerals. In winter, sheep are kept indoors and fed on leaves, grain, and dry fodder. Sheep are reared in many parts of a country for wool. Table 3.1 gives the names of some breeds of sheep reared in our country for producing wool. The quality and texture of the fibers obtained from them is also indicated in the table. Certain breeds of sheep have thick coat of hair on their body which yields good quality wool in large quantities. As mentioned earlier, these sheep are selectively bred, with one parent being a sheep of good breed. Once the reared sheep have developed a thick growth of hair, hair is shaved off for getting wool. Processing silk fibers into wool. The wool, which is used for knitting sweaters or for weaving shawls, is the finished product of a long process which involves the following steps. Step 1. The fleece of the sheep, along with a thin layer of skin, is removed from its body. Figure 3.8a. This process is called shearing. Machines similar to those used by barbers are used to shave off hair. Usually, hair are removed during the hot weather. This enables sheep to survive without their protective coat of hair. The hair provide woolen fibers. Woolen fibers are then processed to obtain woolen yarn. Shearing does not hurt the sheep, just as it does not hurt when you get a haircut or your father shaves his beard. Do you know why? The uppermost layer of the skin is dead. Also, the hair of sheep grow again just as your hair does. Step 2. The shed skin with hair is thoroughly washed in tanks to remove grease, dust, and dirt. This is called scouring. Nowadays, scouring is done by machines. Figure 3.8b and c. Step 3. After scouring, sorting is done. The hairy skin is sent to a factory where hair of different textures are separated or sorted. Step 4. The small fluffy fibers called burrs are picked out from the hair. These are the same burrs which sometimes appear on your sweaters. The fibers are scoured again and dried. This is the wool ready to be drawn into fibers. Step 5. The fibers can be dyed in various colors as the natural fleece of sheep and goats is black, brown or white. Step 6. The fibers are straightened, combined and rolled into yarn. Figure 3.8d. The longer fibers are made into wool for sweaters and the shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen cloth. Activity 3.4. Debate amongst your classmates whether it is fair on the part of humans to rear sheep and then chop off their hair for getting wool. 3.2. Silk. Silk fibers are also animal fibers. Silkworms spin the silk fibers. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called sericulture. Find out from your mother or aunt or grandmother the kind of silk sarees they have. List the kinds of silk. Before we discuss the process of obtaining silk, it is necessary to know the interesting life history of the silk moth. Life history of silk moth. The female silk moth lays egg from which hatch larvae which are called caterpillars or silkworms. They grow in size, and when the caterpillar is ready to enter the next stage of its life history called pupa, it first weaves a net to hold itself. Then it swings its head from side to side in the form of the figure of 8. During these movements of head, the caterpillars secrete fiber made of a protein which hardens on exposure to air and becomes silk fiber. Soon, the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fibers and turns into pupa. This covering is known as cocoon. The further development of the pupa into moth continues inside the cocoon. Silk fibers are used for weaving silk cloth. Can you imagine that the soft silk yarn is as strong as comparable thread of steel? The silk yarn or thread is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. There is a variety of silk moths which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn they yield is different in texture, coarse, smooth, shiny, etc. Thus, tassar silk, muga silk, kosa silk, etc. are obtained from cocoons spun by different types of moths. The most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. The silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is soft, lustrous, and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors. Sericulture or the culture of silkworm is very old occupation in India. India produces plenty of silk on a commercial scale. Activity 3.5. Collect pieces of silk cloth of various types and paste them in your scrapbook. You can find them in a tailor's shop among the heap of waste cut pieces. Take help of your mother, aunt, or teacher and identify the types of silk such as mulberry silk, tassar silk, eri silk, muga silk, etc. Compare the texture of these silks with that of artificial silk pieces which contain synthetic fibers. Try and collect pictures of different moths whose caterpillars provide the various types of silk. Activity 3.6. Take an artificial synthetic silk thread and a pure silk thread. Burn these threads carefully. Did you notice any difference in the smell while burning? Now, burn a woolen fiber carefully. Did it smell like burning of artificial silk or that of pure silk? Can you explain why? To remember when the cocoon stage is reached in the life history of silk moth, try the following activity. Activity 3.7. Photocopy figure 3.9. Cut out pictures of the stages of the life history of the silk moth and paste them on pieces of cardboard or chart paper. Jumble them. Now try and arrange the stages in the correct sequence in a cyclic form. Whoever does it fastest wins. You may also describe the life history in your own words. Write it down in your scrapbook. From cocoon to silk. For obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. Rearing silkworms. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. Figure 3.10a. The eggs are stored carefully on strips of clothes or paper and sold to silkworm farmers. The farmers Keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larva to hatch from eggs. This is done when mulberry trees in figure 3.10b bear a fresh crop of leaves. The larvae, called caterpillars or silkworms, eat day and night and increase enormously in size. The larvae are kept in a clean bamboo trays along with the freshly chopped mulberry leaves. After 25 to 30 days, the caterpillars stop eating and move to a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoon, figure 3.10d. Small rags or twigs may be provided in the trays to which cocoons get attached. The caterpillar or silkworm spins the cocoon inside, which develops the silk moth. Processing silk. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. The cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. Reeling is done in special machines which unwind the threads or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Silk fibers are then spun into silk threads, which are woven into silk cloths by weavers.